जय राघवेंद्र सरकार की. We'll do a few more minutes of Kirtan. Jai Raghavendra Sarkar ki. भेजा तो था. जय राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय. सीता सुकुमार की
जय. 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 सिया राम सरकार की जय. लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय. सिया राम सरकार की जय. लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय. सिया राम सरकार की जय. लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय. सिया राम सरकार की जय. लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय. लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय. लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय. लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय. लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय. राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय. सीता सुकुमार 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 की
जय. राघवेंद्र दरबार की जय. जय जय पवन कुमार की
जय. राघवेंद्र दरबार की जय. जय जय पवन कुमार की
जय. राघवेंद्र दरबार की जय. जय जय पवन कुमार की
जय. राघवेंद्र दरबार की जय. जय जय पवन कुमार की
जय. जय जय पवन कुमार की
जय. जय जय पवन कुमार की
जय. जय जय पवन कुमार की
जय. जय जय पवन कुमार की
जय. राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय. सीता सुकुमार 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 की
जय. राम लक्ष्मण जान की जय. सुधा रूप रस खान की
जय. राम लक्ष्मण जान की जय. सुधा रूप रस खान की
जय. राम लक्ष्मण जान की जय. सुधा रूप रस खान की
जय. राम लक्ष्मण जान की जय. सुधा रूप रस खान की
जय. सुधा रूप रस खान की
जय. सुधा रूप रस खान की
जय. सुधा रूप रस खान की
जय. सुधा रूप रस खान की
जय. राम लक्ष्मण जान की जय. सुधा रूप रस खान की
जय. राम लक्ष्मण जान की जय सुधा रूप रस खान की
जय राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय सीता सुकुमार 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 की
जय 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 राजा राम की जय प्रेम रूप रस खान की
जय 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 राजा राम की जय प्रेम रूप रस खान की
जय 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 राजा राम की जय प्रेम रूप रस खान की
जय 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 राजा राम की जय प्रेम रूप रस खान की
जय प्रेम रूप रस खान की
जय प्रेम रूप रस खान की
जय प्रेम रूप रस खान की
जय प्रेम रूप रस खान की
जय राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय सीता सुकुमार 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 की
जय 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 राजा राम की जय श्रृंगबेरपुर धाम की
जय 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 राजा राम की जय श्रृंगबेरपुर धाम की
जय 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 राजा राम की जय श्रृंगबेरपुर धाम की
जय 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 राजा राम की जय श्रृंगबेरपुर धाम की
जय श्रृंगबेरपुर धाम की
जय श्रृंगबेरपुर धाम की
जय श्रृंगबेरपुर धाम की
जय श्रृंगबेरपुर धाम की
जय राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय सीता सुकुमार 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 की
जय 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 सीता राम की जय केवट रति अभिराम की
जय 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 सीता राम की जय केवट रति अभिराम की
जय 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 सीता राम की जय केवट रति अभिराम की
जय 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 सीता राम की जय केवट रति अभिराम की
जय केवट रति अभिराम की
जय केवट रति अभिराम की
जय केवट रति अभिराम की
जय केवट रति अभिराम की
जय राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय सीता सुकुमार 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 की
जय सिया राम सरकार की जय गंगा की जलधार की
जय सिया राम सरकार की जय गंगा की जलधार की
जय सिया राम सरकार की जय गंगा की जलधार की
जय सिया राम सरकार जलधार की जय, गंगा की जलधार की
जय, गंगा की जलधार की
जय, गंगा की जलधार की
जय, गंगा की जलधार की
जय, गंगा की जलधार की
जय, राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय, सीता सुकुमार 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 की
जय, सिया राम सरकार की बलिहारी के वट प्यार की
जय, सिया राम सरकार की बलिहारी के वट प्यार की
जय, सिया राम सरकार की बलिहारी के वट प्यार की
जय, सिया राम सरकार की बलिहारी के वट प्यार की
बलिहारी के वट प्यार की
बलिहारी के वट प्यार की
बलिहारी के वट प्यार की
बलिहारी के वट प्यार की
जय, गंगा की जलधार की
जय, गंगा की जलधार की
जय, केवट रति अभिराम की
जय, केवट रति अभिराम की
जय, श्रृंगबेरपुर धाम की
जय, श्रृंगबेरपुर धाम की
जय, 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 राजा राम की जय, श्रृंगबेरपुर धाम की
जय, 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 राजा राम की जय, श्रृंगबेरपुर धाम की
जय, राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय, सीता सुकुमार 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 की
जय, सिया राम सरकार की जय, लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय, सिया राम सरकार की जय, लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय, सिया राम सरकार की जय, लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय, सिया राम सरकार की जय, लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय, लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय, लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय, लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय, लक्ष्मण राज दुलार की
जय, राघवेंद्र दरबार की जय, 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 पवन कुमार की
राघवेंद्र दरबार की जय, 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 पवन कुमार की
जय, राघवेंद्र दरबार की जय, 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 पवन कुमार की
जय, राघवेंद्र दरबार की जय, 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 पवन कुमार की
जय, 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 पवन कुमार की
जय, 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 पवन कुमार की
जय, 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 पवन कुमार की
जय, 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 पवन कुमार की
जय, लक्ष्मण राज दुलार 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 की
जय, सीता सुकुमार की
जय, सीता सुकुमार की
जय, सीता सुकुमार की
जय, सीता सुकुमार की
जय, राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय, सीता सुकुमार की
जय, राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय, सीता सुकुमार की
जय, राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय, सीता सुकुमार की
जय, राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय, सीता सुकुमार की
जय, राघवेंद्र राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय। सीता सुकुमार की
जय 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 राघवेंद्र सरकार की जय। सीता सुकुमार की
बोलो राघवेंद्र सरकार की। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अहो चित्रमहो चित्रम् वन्दे तत्प्रेमबन्धनम् यद्बद्धं मुक्तिदं मुक्तम् ब्रह्मक्रीडाभृगीकृतम् हृदं भोजे कृष्णः सजलजलदश्यामलतनुः सरोजाक्षः स्रग्वीमुकुटकटकाद्याभरणवान् शरद्राकानाथप्रतिमवदनः श्रीमुरलिकान् वहन्ध्येयो गोपीगणपरिवृतः कुङ्कुमचितः नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तग्वंह देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशम् मुमुक्षुर्मुमुक्षुर्भवति Churvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. The Divine Souls, today we are celebrating Ram Navmi, the appearance day of Bhagwan Ram in this world, Shree Ram's birthday. Today I'll briefly cover a few points for you that are relevant to Shree Ram's appearance. Bhai prakat kripala deen dayala. It's a phrase from Tulsidas Ji's Ramayana describing this very morning, the 9th moon night, when Sri Ram appeared. And the word he uses is Bhai prakat. Prakat hona means to appear. It doesn't mean to be born. And this is the first thing to keep in mind. Who is Ram? He's not just a prince, the son of a king. That's part of his personality in this Leela that he's doing, this avatar. That doesn't mean he's just some ordinary prince or even a great prince. He's not a material being. He's not a material personality. In Sanskrit, every name and every word has its meaning built into it. It's inherent in the word. And some words have several meanings built into them. Ramante yogino nante satyanande chidatmani iti ramapadena parabrahma bhidhiyate. The Ram Rahasya Upanishad says Ram, the word Ram or the name Ram means the one who is Satchit Anand, the one who is literally the very form of divine bliss. And it is such a bliss, Ram's form is so blissfully beautiful that Ramante yogino nante, even great yogis who were previously absorbed in samadhi, thinking about or absorbed in the bliss of formless God, what we would call Brahmanand, even they indulge their mind in Ram's form, the beauty of Ram's form, because that bliss is even beyond the bliss of formless God. Now, think of who Ram is. Parabrahma abhidhiyate, the last part of this mantra. I said it was from Ram Rahasya Upanishad. It's Ram Tapani Upanishad. This mantra tells us Ram is Parabrahma. That Ram in whom even great yogis indulge because his bliss is so great. He is Supreme God. Ram also means Ra Shabdo Vishwavachano Maschapi Shvaravachakah Vishwanamishvaro yohi yena Rama prakirtitah. This mantra tells us Ram is made of Ra and Ma, and Ra means Vishwa, the world. Ma means the Ish of the world, the one who is the Lord of all creation. Tena Rama prakirtitah. That one is known as Ram. So you see, Ram is Satchidananda Brahm. Ram is Parabrahm. He is Supreme God. According to Vedas, what is Brahm? What is Supreme God? Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisam vishanti tad brahma. Taittiriya Upanishad. The one from whom the whole universe emerges at the time of Srishti, the one in whom the universe is being upheld currently, and the one into whom the universe returns or dissolves at the time of Pralay. That is Brahm and that is Ram. It means the first thing we need to know is that Ram is God. Ram is the origin of the universe. The universe is currently established in Ram, and the universe will dissolve into Ram at the time of universal dissolution. And that Ram appeared in this world. He was not born, because being born requires you to have a material body formed in your mother's womb. We all incarnate. Incarnate means you take on a temporary material body. God doesn't need a material body, He's already got a divine body. His divine body is also eternal. Ram's form is eternal. It's not that God is someone else and then God decided, I'm going to come down here on earth and I'll take this form like Ram. No, Ram exists in that form as God since eternity in his divine abode and even omnipresent in his divine form. So we shouldn't think that Ram is some boy who was born, some son of a king who was born from Mother Kaushalya. No. Ram appeared in front of Mother Kaushalya in his full-grown form. As Shri Krishna did on Janmashtami, he did the very same thing in front of Devaki. In the same way, Ram appeared in front of Kaushalya as full-grown Ram. And then at her request, he became a small baby, the size of a one-day-old baby, and he began doing leelas like a small child would. He began doing leelas as if he weren't God. Bhakta hetu bhagavan prabhu Ram dhare utanu bhoop किए चरित पावन परम प्राकृत नर अनुरूप. Nara anurup, prakrit nara anurup. Anurup means vaise hi, just like a material man. Just like, but not. Just like means like, but not that. He's not a material man. He's not prakrit nara. Prakrit nara anurup. He behaved like and looked like an ordinary man, a material man. That is how he did his leelas when he was here. Leelas means his divine pastimes. So on this very day, Ram Navmi day, Supreme God appeared in his form as Ram. So what does this appearing mean? If he already existed in that form and he was already omnipresent, then what does it mean to appear? Prakata hona. It simply means he made himself visible at one place, where anyone could see him. We could have seen him. Had we gained entrance to the palace of Dashrath and Kaushalya, we also could have seen Ram. That is what avatar means, or appearing means. He makes himself visible in this world. Before he appeared, who could see him? Divine saints could see him. Chidanandamaya deha tumhari bigat bikar jan adhikari. His body is divine. His body is made of divine matter, divine power, What is that matter? That matter is bliss, Anand. Chidananda Maya. He is made of Anand, divine Anand. And he makes that body visible here in the world. Before he did that, those who were qualified could see him. Even now, even though it's not the time of Ram's avatar, if there's a God-realized saint like Tulsidas ji or Valmiki, they can see Ram everywhere, all the time. For them, Ram is always here. For us, we say Ram came from his divine abode and then he went back after 11,000 years. We say that because that's, from our perspective, what it seems like. But in fact, he didn't have to come from anywhere because he's already omnipresent. He just makes himself appear, and then after 11,000 years, he made that form disappear, but nothing else changed. He was still omnipresent. He was, even while he was here as Ram, he was still living in the heart of every living being. There's an amazing description in the Uttarkand of Tulsi Krit Ramayan, where Kagbhushundi is relating one of his experiences to Garudaji. He says, one time I entered inside Ram. Ram inhaled, and I went inside, into his belly. So why did it happen? Ram was revealing something to me. See, even Kagbhushundi got confused one time. Kagbhushundi loved seeing Ram in his Bal Swarup, 5 years or younger. So when he appears, and then until he grows up to a certain age, Kagbhushundi keeps coming around. He's like a wild pet of Ram. Kagbhushundi is a saint, but he lives in the form of a crow. So he always comes and plays with Ram, but he's not a domesticated pet, he's a wild pet. So he comes and Ram brings some cake or some biscuits or something, and he makes some pieces and throws it, and Kagbhushundi comes and gets it, but he doesn't let Ram get too close because he's not domesticated. So they have this interaction all the time, and Kagbhushundi gets to see Ram grow up. One time, when Ram was throwing something like some little tukra and tossed it, and Kagbhushundi flew and flapped his wings. You see birds do it sometimes. If you throw something to them, first they'll do that and then they'll go and eat it. So when he flapped his wings, he was very close to Ram, and Ram got scared. Then Kagbhushundi got confused. God got scared of me flapping my wings? Is he really God, or is he just the son of a king? He started thinking this in his mind. Then before he knew it, Ram was coming to grab him. So he flew up in the air, but he couldn't get away from Ram's hand. He flew higher and higher, and every time he looked back, Ram's hand was just behind him, going to grab him. Eventually he realized, oh, Ram is showing me that he's God. I got confused seeing his childlike plays, and I started doubting if he's God or not, so now he's showing me. So he came back down to Ram and he fell at his feet, and he prayed to Ram, and Ram laughed. And when he laughed and then he inhaled, Kagbhushundi went inside him. So Kagbhushundi is telling Garudaji what he saw inside of Ram. And he describes, I saw not only this Brahmand. This Brahmand means our planetary system, with the solar system, with our Earth planet, and our Swarg and Narak, that's one unit we call a Brahmand. I went to other Brahmands. In other words, he went other places in this galaxy and this universe. And he saw over there also there are souls living. There are other Brahmans with souls living in this universe. So I went over there and I saw there are there are some differences, but there are lots of similarities also. But one thing that's common, Ram is taking avatar over there also. And I went to another Brahman, and Ram was taking avatar over there. Not that everything is synchronized, but the point is Ram could be taking avatar in many different Brahmans simultaneously, and he could be doing different leelas in each place. So Kagbhushundi spent a whole kalp, a whole day of Brahma, visiting all these other Brahmans. And then Ram exhaled and he came out. And here on earth, no time had passed. And Kagbhushundi was amazed by that experience. Oh, now I understand this whole unlimited universe is in this little boy behaving as an ignorant child, learning to walk, learning to talk, getting scared when I flap my wings. But he's God. He hasn't stopped being God just because he's in this form. He's still omnipresent. That is the Ram who comes and appears in this world. Now you might think, what if I got to see Ram? Because he says, Bhakta hetu bhagavan prabhu Ram dhareu tanubhup. He comes in this world for his devotees. So then, does that mean when Ram takes avatar, whoever meets him gets God realized? No. Otherwise, he could take avatar every Ram Navmi, and whoever is celebrating Ram Navmi, he can reward them with God realization. It doesn't work that way because Jana Adhikari, you have to be Adhikari to even know what you're looking at. See, King Janak was Adhikari. So he was amazed when he saw Ram. Innahi vilokat ati anuraga barbas brahma sukhahi man tyaga. King Janak already had divine senses and a divine mind, but his mind was absorbed in the bliss of formless God. Yet when Ram came in front of him, because he was qualified, because he had divine eyesight, he saw Ram for the reality of Ram. He saw the unlimited divine beauty of Ram, and he was instantly overwhelmed with love for Ram. Ati anuraga, barabas. He didn't decide to love Ram, it happened forcefully. He was forcefully attracted to the divine beauty of Ram. And yet others, Jaki rahi bhavna jaisi prabhu murati dekhi tin taisi. Others who were not qualified, they saw Ram according to their level of qualification or according to their level of heart purification. During the Dhanush Yagya in Mithila, when Ram rose to lift up the Shiv Dhanush, there were some Rakshas over there as well, some demons. So you can imagine what was the state of their heart. According to the state of impurity of their heart, they saw Ram as a Rakshas. Can you imagine? They were talking amongst each other, oh, he's so frightful, look at him. He's got 4 heads, and he looks so scary. He's got 8 arms, and the next one sitting next to him is saying, is there something wrong with your eyes? He's got 20 heads and 40 arms. And the third one sitting there says, neither of you knows how to count. Look at him, he's got 100 heads and 200 arms. They're arguing like that because it is the unique quality of God's divine body that nobody sees the reality of his body unless they're qualified. Whereas in this world, if you have a beauty pageant, they vote. And generally people agree, yes, this one is the most beautiful, this one's number 2, this one's number 3. It doesn't depend on the purity of your heart. You see what they are, you see it through your eyes. It's a material perception. But with God, God's divine beauty cannot be perceived at all without divine eyes. So what would we have seen? we would have seen a man or a boy, and we would have been attracted or repelled by him depending upon the level of purity or impurity of our heart. We might have been attracted if we had some heart purification. We might have thought, oh, there's something about this boy, something different. I just like looking at him. But we wouldn't have known he was God. And someone else with more impurity in their heart would have felt like, oh, I don't know why, I just don't like this person. It's God. They're looking at God and they're being repelled because their heart is impure. That's what that famous statement of the Ramayana means. Jaki rahi bhavana jaisi, prabhu murati dekhi tin taisi. Dekhi tin taisi, you see Ram according to your own state of heart purification. So if we were to meet Ram during his avatar, or today, if he were to take avatar, we wouldn't get any benefit. That's the amazing thing. We wouldn't even know he's God. Rishi Vishwamitra could be standing next to us telling us, don't you know this is God? Bow down to him. And we'll say, what are you talking about? Some boy holding a bow and arrow telling me he's God. We wouldn't even believe an eternal divine saint. What this means is that Ram's avatar doesn't directly benefit just any random person who might meet him during his avatar. Then what is the point of him taking avatar? If he can't just go to someone and they become God realized, what is the point? There's another way that he benefits us. He makes his name, form, leelas, gunas, meaning qualities, abode, and divine associates known in this world. Jagavistarahi vimal yash Ram janma kar hetu. He spreads the fame of all these ways that people have of remembering him. Otherwise, I mean, Ram is divine, he has a divine intellect, so just like you, if you're going to the store, then you probably try to accomplish many things with that one trip, right? So Ram is infinitely more intelligent than us. So if he's making a trip here on earth, he's going to have many things in mind that he may want to accomplish. Hari avatar jehi hoi, idamitham kahi jaat na soi. Hari avatar hetu jehi hoi, idamitham kahi jaat na soi. No one could recount all the reasons for Ram's avatar. Ram janma kar hetu aneka, param vichitra ek te eka. Nor could we even understand the reasons for Ram's avatar. But there's one that relates directly to us. Soi gun gai bhagat bhav tarahi, kripa sindhu janhit tanu dharahi. Ram is the ocean of grace, and he takes avatar in this world in order to grace the souls so that they can have material to do devotion. If we didn't know about his names, what would we sing? If we didn't know about his leelas, what would we remember if we wanted to think of Ram? So he comes and he reveals those things in this world, and using that as a basis for devotion, for devotional meditation, Bhagata Bhavatarahi, the devotees of Shree Ram cross over this ocean of cosmic existence. Bhavesmin klishyamananam avidya kama karmabhi Shravana smaranarhani karishyan niti kechana. Bhagavatam says, whenever Ram or Krishna descend on this earth, it is to reveal leelas, to reveal their personality through their divine actions on this earth planet, so that Shravana smaranaha, those who wish to attain him, they can hear about them and then do smaran of Ram's Naam, Roop, Leela, Guna, Dham and Jan. Because Lokesmin, Valmiki ji says, Yo naram manuvratah. There is not, nor has there ever been, nor will there ever be, a soul who is not dedicated wholeheartedly to Shree Ram. Why? Because we are all related to Ram. He is the soul of our soul. We are alive because of him. We are Atma, but he is Paramatma. He is the soul of our soul. We have this eternal, perfect relationship with him. Thus, our soul desires only to know Ram. And Ram is personified bliss. So only by knowing him can we become perfectly blissful. This is why Ram comes, in order to give us the means of reaching him, to be free of material sufferings and to attain his divine vision and his divine bliss. How to do this? Just remember, Milahi na raghupati binu anuraga, kiye jog jap gyan viraga. Although there are many pious spiritual practices described in our scriptures, yet none of them result in meeting Ram, because Rama hi keval prema pyara. Ram's heart is only melted by the love of his devotees. He cannot be captured by our renunciation or our knowledge or our ritual performances or our yogic prowess. None of these things can captivate unlimited, infinite, supreme God. However, ऐसो को उदार जग माही बिनु सेवा जो द्रवै दीन पर राम सरिस को नाही ऐसो को उदार जग माही. There is no one in existence who is as kind-hearted as Ram, because he doesn't require anything from us. He requires no greatness of practice, or he doesn't even require us to serve him or give anything in return. He's willing to give himself to us if we just humbly submit to him. That's it. Our love melts his heart. This is the path of bhakti. This is why Tulsidas ji says, Bari mathe baru hoy grit sikata te baru tel binu hari bhajan na bhavatariya yah siddhant apel. This is an incontrovertible philosophy that one can only attain God by devoting oneself to him. The path of devotion, the path of bhakti, loving devotion. He gives a comparison. He says, even if someone could make other impossible things possible, like do manthan of a pot of water, churn a pot of water and get butter out of it. Although it's impossible, but let's say someone could do it. Or someone could squeeze a rock and get oil out of it. also impossible. But let's say someone has the power to do that. They still cannot attain God without doing bhajan, without doing bhakti. Sab karmat khagnayak eha Kariya Ram Pad Pankaj Neha. Kagbhushundi says to Garudji, "O King of the birds, know that all the scriptures and all of the saints have the same view, that the essence of everything is to develop love for the lotus feet of Shree Ram. Jahan lagi sadhan ved bakhani, sab kar phal Hari Bhagati Bhavani." The goal of all the pious practices instructed in our scriptures is simply to develop love for Shree Ram. This is what we need to keep in mind on Ram Navmi, that Ram actually did physically come on this earth in his divine body in order to grace us. How does he grace us? Not by giving us the chance to meet him face to face at that time, because we wouldn't have benefited by that, but by revealing his leelas, his personality, his names, etc. on this earth, which is recounted by great saints like Valmiki, Tulsidas Ji, Vedavyas. And that becomes the material that devotees use in order to cross this ocean of Maya and reach Ram. The only thing we need is to attach our mind to him. So that to him means attach our mind to his name, attach our mind to his form, attach our mind to his leelas, any one of these things. That's all that's required. Develop love for Ram through meditating upon his names and leelas. And this is what we teach here at Radha Madhav Dham. This is what we do each and every day, according to the instructions of Jagadguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj. This is the path of devotion in a beautiful, simple, powerful form. And on Ram Navmi, we remind ourselves of these facts, and we also try to remember it going forward for the rest of the year, so that next Ram Navmi, we can have a good answer if we were to ask ourselves, have I developed more love for Ram since last Ram Navmi? If the answer is yes, it means you've been making use of what Ram left us. You've been meditating on his leelas and his name and his form. And through that, you've been purifying your heart, and you're getting closer and closer to that day where Ram will take a special avatar just for you. When you're qualified, he'll appear right in front of you, and you'll meet him, and you'll get to stay with him for once and for all. Bolo Ramchandra Bhagavan ki. So we'll have a few minutes of Nam Sankirtan, and then we'll move on to the other elements of today's program. Let us chant the name of Shree Ram with full enthusiasm, knowing that he revealed his name in this world for us to do his devotion. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai Siya Ram.
Siya Ram,
Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai Siya Ram.
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 जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
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 जय जय सिया राम,
जय जय सिया राम,
जय जय सिया राम,
जय जय सिया राम,
जय जय सिया राम,
जय जय सिया राम,
जय जय सिया राम,
जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
राम लल्ला की During the next part of the program, we'll also be having Kirtan go on, and you can follow with the projection on the screen. And we've got some devotional stations set up for you up front, so you can visit all three of them. The first one is you'll get the opportunity to do Abhishek of Ram, baby Ram. The second one is we have the Charan Paduka of Jagadguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj. So you'll have the chance to do pranam to Shri Maharajji's Charan Paduka. And then baby Ram is also in the cradle. So if you also want to go and rock baby Ram, we have these 3 devotional stations set up for you to have some hands-on experience of celebrating Ram Navmi. So you can get involved in this way as well. You can show your love for Shree Ram and Guruji by doing these devotional activities. So we'll move on to that part of the program now.